Hello, my name is GiBi for the Horror Homestead, and this is going to be a small theory about FNAF 4. I'm a big proponent of not removing pieces of evidence from context, and my go-to motto of theory crafting is to treat lore importance proportional to the size of the Easter egg itself. The same goes for hints and story beats. A cutscene? Very important lore. A few pixels in a minigame? Not lore important. That's why I think that the mound in Midnight Motorist and the house-shaped ground around it are just indicating that the Aftons are constructing the second house that we know they will one day own. This just indicates to us the time period that the minigame is taking place in. I don't think it's evidence of a conspiracy about animatronics burying themselves underground, or Cece's body or anyone else's body in the woods, or a secret hatch to sister location. Likewise, I believe that Henry saying that William's first murder, the first wound inflicted on him, confirms that Charlie's death is first. And that, to me, overwrites any cryptic symbolism about masks falling down or grave orders in 3D VR games. But what happens when a few pixels in a minigame have attention drawn to them specifically by the sole creator of the game? Why would Scott Cawthon point to Tiny Toy Chica missing her beak in FNAF 4 as one of the 3 overall hints towards solving that game? What happens when a pixel is more than just a pixel? Well, it's not. Going back to what I said about removing things from context, I've long been critical of people who hold up Scott's 3 hints from the GT livestream as being important. Everything Scott says, every post he makes, and especially these 3 lore hints, are almost stapled together to form a weird FNAF Bible. These words pulled directly from the god of the franchise. This attitude is almost certainly what led Scott to pull back from talking about lore. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that Scott was disappointed with the community coming to believe Dream Theory, and that some to this day still think it was intended. He's mocked this idea on multiple occasions. His prank about how Nightmare works in UCN, Mr. Hippo's speech. I have 2 videos about why Dream Theory was never intended, as well as what Midnight Motorist probably doesn't mean, that I will link below. But overall, I don't think these 3 hints were meant to fit together to solve any overarching theory of FNAF. I think each one was supposed to be a talking point for MatPat and the GT livestream, given that that is the context they were in. Scott updating his website during this stream. 4 games, 1 story. What is seen in shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. Why is the Tiny Toy Chica missing her beak? 4 games, 1 story is pretty commonly believed to be a hint that Foxy Bro is Mike Schmidt, as well as the Frights Guard, thus making this game the origin story for the protagonist of the franchise. MatPat even comes up with this idea on the stream, but eventually goes to make the video on Dream Theory instead. Tiny Toy Chica missing her beak for MatPat was evidence of Dream Theory. I've explained it away with Arcade Theory. To me, it's not evidence, it's just something that is explained if my Arcade Theory is correct. But I think there's an even more simple solution, and it comes courtesy of one of my commenters. Basically, what if it's literally just telling us that this is Susie? Even though Scott drew attention to this, I think that small details are small lore. But this, I think, is showing us that this is Susie. When Scott chooses to depict Susie later, it's also with a red bow, blonde hair, blue eyes, and a pink shirt. Susie as a character didn't exist yet, but I think Scott intended us to look at this and go, oh, this girl's linked to Chica, because the toy Chica broke and she's a kid, and that's it. Keep in mind that the toy animatronics are heavily implied to only be haunted because parts from the withered animatronics are used to repair them. I have another theory that will come out soon about how there probably wasn't a DCI at all, so Toy Chica is powered by the same remnant as Chica. It's still Susie. Even on a meta level, and I love this, if Susie says that she was the first and she saw everything, it would fit with her being a character who spends her time outside the Aftons' house, which is where you find her in FNAF 4. Maybe William even hit her dog on purpose, who knows. If Susie did see everything, maybe it's not that she died and from the spirit realm was able to see everything, maybe it's that she grew up as a neighbor to Cece and the Aftons. Maybe she was friends with Cece before anything went down. She's basically the only character in FNAF 4 who isn't antagonist toward him and is friendly. I've always found it weird how out of all of the MCI kids, Susie is the one who gets the most attention. She's the one who talks about her experience in the 4th closet, talking about how Spring Bonnie helped her look for her dog. She gets a dedicated minigame in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. She gets a story in Fazbear Frights. I think if Scott made a sprite for her and said to himself, "I'm gonna have Cece's friend and neighbor be the Chica victim, isn't that dark?" it would probably ingrain her in his mind as one of his favorites. So yeah, Tiny Toy Chica missing her beak isn't supposed to be a big hint. It's not the 4 games, 1 story, what happens in the shadow, the Chica beak. Those aren't the things that are going to solve the series. That's just a creation, an imaginary thing by the fans. I think Scott was pointing Matt toward Easter eggs, not giving the 3 hints that unite to form the explanation for everything. I really think that this is Susie, which is something a lot of other people have believed for a long time. But I think that Tiny Toy Chica is missing her beak because this is Susie. The end. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this shorter theory. I still have a lot of FNAF stuff to cover about the things that came out during the 10th anniversary week, and whenever one of my commenters has a good idea like this one, I'll probably make a video about it. But I also want to say, this isn't just a FNAF channel. I have other horror topics I want to cover, and hopefully you'll tune in for those when they eventually come out. While you're in the comments being nice to each other, you can also leave little theory ideas like this, because if they spark my imagination, I might just turn them into a video. Thank you for watching, and remember that FREDDY stands for Friendly, Respectful Engagement, Discussion, and Discourse Yields Success.